we have a Swede here that has been living in Africa for a while with his kids and family, and he bought 2 electric scooters from Africa, local in Africa, and they have the name Zingo. How cool is that? He shipped them in a container to Sweden and none of them worked. As you can see, there are lead acid batteries, 2 of them, and this doesn't look fine, but it should work. It has a fuse, on-off switch, and yes, the battery box in this one is loose. I actually had a very similar one before, and a motor with a chain. Many of these smaller ones, we have a smaller one as well, usually they're belt operated, and I sell a lot of belt for them. And I mean, I sell a lot of dry belts for them. So let's see, what can be wrong with this? And you should always start by looking at the battery. If there are no power coming from the batteries, there is nothing else you can check. 24 volts, 21 amps. So this is like 500 watt scooter. Cool. Let's see how the batteries are doing. So you can check the terminals first. Should be able to get a connection there and there. Seems like the batteries are dead, or he had them stored just 6 weeks in a container. But if they were poorly charged, I see that this connector, this on-off switch if you will, has 3 pins connected to it. One of them is probably a 5 volt coming from the controller to make this one lit up, so it's easy to tell if it's working. But maybe if this one was turned on and it was taking 5 volts from the controller, then maybe it was draining the batteries on the ride, and if you pack it in a container, maybe you accidentally put it in the on mode. So that's the problem with this one. At least that's the first problem. Replacing them yourself is quite cheap, because 12 volt 7.2 amp hour cells are easy to come by. They are really easy. They're one of the most popular sizes. Here we have the little brother, and I've seen this before. Not the exact same version. They have a little other type of boards and like that, but I recognize this. Okay, yeah, I recall this. It has 12 volt 4.5 amp hours, and it also has chain drift and vertical drum brakes. So how are they doing? They have the reset button over here and an on-off button on the other side. It's not lit up, but it has an indicator, so it has basically the same function. There's not water, but there's a lot of dirt. Oh, 3 volts. Can't do any fun with 3 volts. 5.5. No, that's still pretty useless. And there might even have the shop where I bought them. SA scootershop.co.ca, I think, South Africa. So I'm gonna try and see if I can find a 24 volt solution to hook up to this, but I don't think I have that. Now I have this quite useless LiPo battery from Giant, made by Sanyo, which I have no reason to keep at all, except it's still fully charged and it still has 24 volt. So I don't have any lead acid batteries lying around. Okay, positive should be fairly easy. I connect the positive from the terminal over here to the positive of the battery over here. Then they have the serious config, and here it has the negative line. And I want to disconnect the battery or I will be accidentally charging it up, and that's no good. And I'm gonna make sure it's in the off mode, since there's hardly any inrush current spark protection in these kind of tools. There might be a spark. So let's see. No spark. Good little battery. Maybe it's because it's dead. So, do you think we can turn it on now? Yes, it turns on. There's a green light over here. We have a green light. Do we have a throttle on this? Yes, it's alive. It's alive. So now we know that this scooter is working. It just has one function. I don't need the throttle is working and it doesn't have any other function except for the light. We can't test the charger port or the chargers yet because we don't have a lead acid battery, but we can offer this guy a repair. Let's test the other scooter as well. Yeah, we want to remove this hot glue. We have a clean, nice looking terminal, and that one came loose. But that was not the problem, or was it? We're gonna double check that. So, do we have? Yes, we have a terminal over here. I'm gonna connect the positive. And I'm gonna do like this, mate. Remove that. And I will connect the solder bulb to here, and I will use this one as inrush current protection. Positive is connected. Is it on in the off mode? Yes, it's in the off mode. And no spark either. And I was so careful because I don't like sparks. And it's on and it's lit up. And let's see if we can get some action going. No action. It has this little trip sensor. Yes. And this is a 500 watt scooter, and this battery might be made for 200 watt, but when you don't have any load on the scooter, when it's just spinning in the air, it won't be a 500 watt scooter. It will pull like maybe 50 watts or something. So there's no reason to think I'm damaging this donor pack or what you would call it. But I can conclude that both of these scooters are working. I have not been able to test the charging port, and I don't think this is gonna be a problem. But if he offers, if he wants me to do a battery repair, I will of course fix that. That's pretty simple. I'm gonna find out what cells I can offer him. They have to be the same size. I won't offer him a lithium option because that would cost him. In this case, he might be able to need to replace the charger, because in Africa they have something like this, and he didn't know even what current they were having in the outlets in Africa. These were the ones he was getting with them. Oh, and I don't think we have an adapter for this. I've never seen these before. African plugs.